the world the Mongols entered. By the 13th century, China was wealthy, urbanized, and technologically advanced, but politically divided. The Song dynasty ruled the south, while northern China had already fallen to nomadic powers. China was no longer the military giant it once had been. It was a civilization of cities, scholars, merchants, and ships. And from the vast grasslands of the Eurasian steppe, a force was approaching that cared little for any of this. The Mongols, a new kind of power. The Mongols were unlike any enemy China had faced before. They did not fight for cities, tradition, or legitimacy. They fought for dominance. Under Genghis Khan, the Mongols created the largest contiguous land empire in human history. Speed, discipline, intelligence networks, and psychological warfare made them unstoppable. After Genghis Khan's death, the Mongol war machine did not slow. It turned its attention fully toward China, from conqueror to emperor. The true founder of the Yuan Dynasty was Kublai Khan, grandson of Genghis Khan. Unlike earlier Mongol leaders, Kublai understood that ruling China required more than conquest. It required administration. In 1271, he declared the Yuan Dynasty, adopting a Chinese dynastic name while remaining unmistakably Mongol in identity. This was a turning point. The steppe entered the palace, the end of resistance. The Southern Song fought desperately. Their navy was strong, their cities were fortified, their economy was resilient. But the Mongols adapted. They learned shipbuilding. They absorbed Chinese engineers. They used gunpowder weapons. They combined steppe mobility with Chinese technology. In 1279, at the Battle of Yamen, the last Song resistance collapsed. The child emperor died with loyal officials. China was fully conquered. For the first time in history, all of China was ruled by foreigners. Mongols in a Chinese world. The Yuan rulers faced a paradox. They ruled a land far more populous, complex, and culturally sophisticated than themselves. Their solution was separation. Society was divided into rigid classes: Mongols, Central Asians, and other foreigners. Northern Chinese, Southern Chinese. Chinese elites were deliberately excluded from top positions. The imperial examination system was largely suspended. The message was clear. China was ruled, but not trusted. China opens to the world. Despite repression, the Yuan dynasty connected China to the wider world more than ever before. Merchants, scholars, diplomats, and travelers crossed Eurasia under the protection of the Pax Mongolica. One of them was Marco Polo, whose accounts introduced Europe to the wonders of China. For the first time, China was not just a civilization. It was part of a global system, keeping the empire moving. The Yuan restored and expanded canals, roads, and postal relay stations. Grain shipments from the south fed northern cities. Paper money was widely used, but poorly controlled. Inflation followed, trade flourished, but corruption spread. The empire moved fast, too fast to remain stable. Adaptation and survival. Confucian scholars lost political power, but not influence. Many withdrew from government and turned to art, drama, and writing. This period saw the rise of Yuan drama and theater, deeply emotional, often tragic, and focused on injustice and suffering. Culture did not disappear. It changed shape, belief without borders. The Mongols practiced religious tolerance. Buddhism, Taoism, Islam, and Christianity coexisted under Yuan rule. Tibetan Buddhism gained special favor, influencing court rituals and imperial ideology. Religion became a political tool, but also a refuge, the cost of distance. Over time, the Yuan rulers grew detached from the people they governed. Factionalism, corruption, and incompetence spread. Natural disasters, floods, famines, epidemics devastated the countryside. The ruling elite remained foreign, isolated, and increasingly resented. The empire lost legitimacy. The people rise. By the mid-14th century, rebellion erupted across China. The most powerful movement was the Red Turban Rebellion, fueled by millenarian beliefs, poverty, and hatred of Mongol rule. Among the rebels rose a former monk and peasant, Zhu Yuanzhang. History was about to turn. Foreign rule ends. In 1368, rebel forces captured the Yuan capital. The last Yuan emperor fled north to the steppe. The Yuan Dynasty collapsed. China returned to native rule, a brief but transformative rule. The Yuan Dynasty ruled for less than a century, but its impact was enormous. It integrated China into a global network, accelerated cultural exchange, demonstrated the limits of ruling China without legitimacy. Foreign conquest changed China forever, but it also reminded China who it was, why the Yuan still matters. The Yuan dynasty represents disruption. It shattered assumptions about Chinese superiority, reshaped Eurasia, and forced China to redefine itself. Out of humiliation came renewal. Out of foreign rule came determination. And from the ashes of the Yuan, a new dynasty would rise. The Ming.